Guys, we are back with the living legend, Coach Ronnie Shields, and he's going to tell us what strategy he would use if he were training Ryan Garcia or Mario Barrios. And we're going to see what he thinks about the proposed strategy of Mario Barrios on Saturday night. Does it get the stamp of approval from Coach Ronnie Shields? Well, wait and find out, guys. All this and much, much more on the latest edition of Real Boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields.
Ventures proudly presents living legend and elite level trainer Ronnie Shields.
Guys, welcome. Happy Fat Tuesday to everybody. And once again, guys, our last night to drink if you're partaking in the Christian Holy Day of Obligation, Ash Wednesday. I know someone who's going to be, and that is one of the best who have ever done it. Living legend, Coach Ronnie Shields. Ronnie, how are you, brother?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Another day.
Oh, another day, another dollar. Guys, I wouldn't want to do this without my brother, Mr. Boxing Source, Big J.R. Bell. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. Hey, just ready for this fight week.
Oh, my gosh. It's been a minute since we've been on with the coach, and we have a lot to catch up with. Guys, that means it's time for, and once again, we have to do an impromptu version. This is going to come right straight from our medullas, and we're going to do this. Yes!
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction.
Oh, shoot. Ronnie, are you ready, brother?
Let's do it.
All right, fact or fiction, Ronnie. There was nothing Teofimo Sr. could have said that would have helped his son do any better against this version of Shakur Stevenson 2 weeks ago. Fact or fiction?
Well, that's definitely a fact.
Yeah.
Definitely a fact.
With that said, Ronnie, you had to feel for poor Teofimo Jr. with the sage corner advice. You gotta effing hit him, bro. Ronnie, what were you thinking when you heard that from the corner?
Well, you know, here's the thing, right? You know, it's got to be more than that. You know, I had no idea what the game plan was, but it seems to me,
honestly, I don't think they did either, Coach.
You know, you have to say what the game plan is. You know, you have to tell your fighter, you know, what he's not doing, and to try different things in order to give him the instructions, man. You can't just say, you know, you can't let him hit you, bro. You know, that don't work. You know, that's not advice.
So if you haven't gone over that in the gym, or if you haven't given that kind of instruction in the gym, what does it do to your fighter when you say that during the fight?
Well, he's lost. He's looking
it.
He's looking for something that's going to help him. And, you know, he didn't give him anything that was going to help him. So, you know, he just went out there and just did what he know how to do. Like I say, whatever the game plan was, didn't work.
Yep. Now, fact or fiction number 2. Coach, fact or fiction, Teofimo Jr. needs to start training with someone who can teach him how to cut off the ring and close the distance. Unfortunately, that means leaving his father. Fact or fiction?
That's definitely a fact.
Mm. So do you have any
Come on,
recommendations?
bro.
What's going on?
Come on,
JR.
you gotta hit him.
Oh,
What are you
jeez.
doing, bro?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Look, Coach, you have any recommendations? Because when I brought this up to you and said, Ronnie Shields, anyone? You said, no, he's good where he's at.
Nah, look, it takes time to when you. I mean, look, I probably would do it, but it takes time, to get somebody to redo a lot of things that you see a guy doing that you can change things, and a fighter has to be willing to make changes. When you change to a new trainer, because everybody teaches different. We all don't teach the same. We teach different, and a fighter has to be willing to go to do different things, because obviously, it didn't work what you was doing in your last fight. But every fight is different though. So you have different styles, you have different everything. But, it just takes time and opportunity that you have to work with a person and to make him understand, what he has to do that he wasn't doing. And that takes time to do, you know. And if a fighter is willing to do it, then believe it or not, it don't take as much time, because these guys are already experienced fighters. So it shouldn't take them, long to get something new going in their careers.
Especially someone as athletically gifted as Teofimo Lopez.
Yes, he
You
is.
would you go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
No, he's a very talented young man. He wouldn't be where he is right now if he wasn't. So, but it's just a few things that he has to work on, and I just have to have somebody to spend time with him to make him understand that certain things you can do, but you wasn't doing.
Mm. There it is. And guys, that leads us into, well, first of all, do you have anything else to bring up to the coach or ask the coach while we're still on the topic of Shakur versus Teofimo Jr.?
Well, the thing for me was I didn't really expect much from Teofimo Lopez going into that fight against Shakur Stevenson. I thought it would be like a 10-2 type of a fight. I didn't think it would be that bad though. And, given the circumstances that were surrounding what was happening before the fight, seeing what was there in the corner of Teofimo Lopez, that was crazy to me. But, it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to be next for him, especially since this was more of a devastating loss, at least to me, than the George Kambosos fight. So now we got to see what Teal's ego is going to be after a loss like that.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, ego? He looked devastated. Like, Coach Ronnie, what would you tell Junior? Because, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't have a dog in the hunt. And we pretty much knew something like this was going to happen. We called it, right? But my heart went out for him after the fight. He looked absolutely devastated, Coach. What do you tell a fighter after experiencing something like this?
But I think the first thing you got to tell him is, forget boxing for a little while. As long as he got it on his mind, he's going to play that fight in his head over and over and over again. And that's something he needs to get away from right now. Just completely take boxing out of his life for like a month or two, and that'll help him to heal from things that happen. But you got to understand too, he don't have to hang his head low, because he got to keep his head up high, because he fought one of the best fighters in boxing today, is Shakur Stevenson. This kid he's such a good fighter, and he's definitely hard to beat. So he don't need to hang his head on that. He just got to go and relax, take boxing off his mind, and get a fresh start. Once you get the fresh start, then you work on things that you need to work on, because it's all fighters need to work on something that is going to help them in their career to continue in their career. So but the most important thing is you need to just stop thinking about boxing for about a month or two, and just let it go and concentrate on his life, and he'll come back a better fighter.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, for that sage advice, you receive a War Week round of applause. Because I tell you what, that's tough, guys. And Coach Ronnie has been through that, albeit not that often. Because when's the last time, Coach, one of your understudies or pupils have been on the terrible end of a complete embarrassing shutout like that?
It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, like I can't look. I'll be honest. I can't remember when that's ever happened. Like, or you've been on the terrible bad end of a one-sided wash. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen that, Coach. And we've known each other for what, 20 years?
Yeah, about.
So it's been longer than 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Well, guys, it happens to the best of them, though. But yeah, I'll be honest, I can't remember that happened to Ronnie. But I tell you what, let's get back to this, guys.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction.
Speaking of Shakur Stevenson, there's been a lot of chatter about Shakur versus Ryan Garcia if Ryan is successful this Saturday night. So, fact or fiction, Coach, a fight between Shakur versus Ryan Garcia. There's no need, because we already saw it 2 weeks ago. It would look a lot like the Teofimo Jr. fight. Fact or fiction?
I think that's fiction. I think that's fiction. And you got to understand that Ryan is much bigger than Teofimo or Shakur, for that matter of fact. And because of that, he's going to be a bigger guy in the ring, if they fight at 147. Ryan is not going down to 140. You could bet that. He's not going to do that, and which I don't blame him. He would take advantage of the height, the weight, and that's, now you're digging into deep waters when you do things like that. You kind of continue to prove yourself, but you're fighting now. His first fight at 140, you won the world title. Now you're going up and you're trying to fight somebody at 147. I mean, the weight difference is huge. And you got to remember, Ryan is a good fighter. Ryan is just not anybody that just walked off the street. Ryan Garcia can fight.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it's a tale of two Ryan Garcias, because you never know which one's gonna show up. So, yeah, there it is. Coach says fiction. And hey, so does our brother Anthony Manzano. I agree with the coach. I think it's fiction. I believe it plays out more like what you saw with Ryan and Devin rather than Stevens. Oh, wow, that's amazing. I'll tell you what, he's got to get past El Azteca first. Fact or fiction, Coach? Look, You know what, James? I can't keep a secret. I've got to let this out of the bag, Holmes. From what I've been told by Team Barrios, oh, their strategy for Ryan Garcia, courtesy of Master Joe Goosen, one of the more respected and knowledgeable trainers today, uh, they're going to take the fight right to Ryan Garcia. Coach, is that a good move or bad?
Well, I mean, I don't know because I haven't had to study Ryan, nor did I study Barrios, so I don't know. But obviously Joe, he trained Ryan before, so he understands a lot about Ryan Garcia.
Okay, so
Maybe,
with that said, let me tell you what goes on in the logic of the mind of Joe Goosen. He says, look, Ryan is a very peculiar fighter. He's extremely naturally athletically gifted, and you can't take anything away from him. He can put you on your ass with one clean shot. But he's very peculiar because he can't fight from mid to long range. He can't fight on the inside. His bread and butter is nailing you as you're coming to him from mid range with that left hook. And that's all he has. But as soon as Mario gets inside, checkmate. He can't do anything about it. Coach, but look, when you get to that place, you got to walk through a bad neighborhood, in the immortal words of Teddy Atlas. Do you think Mario Barrios can execute that?
well, here's the thing, right? Mario is a front runner.
Mm.
He's good, really good the first 4 rounds. So, he, he's probably going to have a lot of success in the first 4 rounds, but you still got 8 rounds to go. So, can he keep that up for 12 rounds or at least 10 rounds? I mean, if he get a big 10-0 lead, then, he's going to win the fight because he just got to stay away. But you got to remember, Ryan can punch.
Yep.
And, not to say that Mario can't take a punch because he can. Obviously, he can. But,
Yep.
But still, when you can be getting hit back to back to back, because Mario has shown that he fades in fights, and you can't afford to fade on a guy like Ryan Garcia. So maybe Joe has the right game plan, but we don't know until the fight happens.
That's why they fight the fights, Coach. And yeah, you know what? That's another thing that he said was, hey, if we try to box him from mid to long range, he's never going to be able to keep turning him, keep the action in the center of the ring, fight behind his jab with his feet moving. He's not going to be able to do that for 12 rounds. This is why they came up with this game plan. So that's very astute. Look. Hold on. We're going to get into this. JumpTube says, Coach, how big of a factor is Joe Goosen being in Mario's corner?
It's only a factor if Barrios wins.
And there it is. I love it, Coach. And Daisy.
Here's the thing, though.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Here's the thing, right? Just because Goosen trained Ryan before doesn't mean he know everything about Ryan. You have to understand that, Ryan, he is who he is, but at the same time, you don't know what he's doing in the gym. You don't know what his game plan is. So, and just because Joe trained him, that don't mean Joe knows everything about Ryan, especially now, because there's been a few fights Ryan has had, after Joe. So you can't take because he worked with him that day, that's automatically going to put Barrios at an advantage.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. It was only 2 fights, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a couple fights, at least 2 fights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see. But look, I'll be honest. One, I think Ryan's on that shit again. Two, yeah, he looks like he's in the best shape of his career. Understanding that this may be his last chance saloon, another loss at the hands of the perceived low-hanging fruit at 47. Yeah, that's not good for his career. So I'm expecting the best version, whatever that is, of Ryan Garcia. With that said, I'm expecting also the best version of Mario Barrios. His ego and his pride is at stake here. Think about this is the perception of Mario Barrios at this time. Now think about this. He's currently the WBC champ, but Ring Magazine has him ranked only number 10. Does that make any sense at all, Coach?
Well, really, because he didn't win the belt in the ring. He was given the belt, right?
Uh-oh.
So,
That's right.
You know,
He's the look, champ at 47.
In all actuality, that means a lot, though. You know, it's different when you go in and you win that belt. You know.
Yep.
And you know, and he can't say he did that. You know, so of course he's not going to get the respect as much as someone who has battled their way and won the world championship.
Amen. Very well stated. Very well stated. Daisy Sanchez says, Joe, is it true that Teofimo vs. Shakur sold over 1 million pay-per-view buys? Look, if that were the case, DAZN would have released the numbers. From what I was told, it did well, though. It's closer to about 400,000. Coach, is that what you're hearing as well?
Yeah. I think it's close to like 400,000 or 500,000, but I don't know.
That's still excellent with this piracy and everything. That's still great.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, be that as it may, regardless if it's 400,000 or 1 million, that's a big critical and commercial hit for Shakur Stevenson, guys. The future looks bright for Shakur. Yeah, I tell you what. But look, let's just be honest, right? Let's be honest. Fact or fiction, Coach. If Ryan Garcia is successful this Saturday night, and especially wins by knockout, you have to make the rematch between King Rye and the Dream Devin Haney. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's a fact. You got to.
Yeah.
That has to happen. That has to happen. But the thing about it is, would Devin be willing to go to 47? Because I don't think Ryan would be willing to go back down. And you can't have a middle ground with these two guys.
Devin is currently the WBO welterweight champion at 147 pounds right now.
Right, he is. That's right. I thought it was 140, but it's 47.
No, that's the other octopus hold 60 times a fighter in Richardson Hitchens, who's going to be competing on Saturday night as well against, I love this matchup, Ronnie. Maybe I'm crazy. Fact or fiction, brother. Oscar Duarte will put pressure and stop Richardson Hitchens and win the IBF Junior Welterweight Championship this Saturday. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Oh.
Richardson is too good of a boxer, man. This kid, he's the real deal. He is the real deal. Absolutely.
Well, look, I'm just going by the Gustavo Lemos performance. That was an amazing fight. And let's just be honest, if the ref is Thomas Taylor, who doesn't let you hold, I think Gustavo Lemos wins that fight. So we'll see who the ref. Now, once again, how important is it, Ronnie, for the ref? And once again, they don't like to determine the outcome, but contingent, depending on how officious they are on fight night, that says everything now, doesn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. Look, the referee plays a big part in a lot of these fights. Some refs will let you hold and hit. Some, as soon as you tie up, they'll break you right away. So that means a big difference in a fight. The referee that you ask.
Yeah, James, what say you, brother? What are your thoughts on Duarte versus Hitchens? Do you smell an upset, or do you agree with the coach?
I mean, I see Hitchens outpointing Duarte. I don't, see where Hitchens will have the same issues that he had against Gustavo Lemos. I think he knows, like, hey, that he has a number of big fights on the horizon there at 140 and won't kind of like take it for granted. And he'll look to have another performance like he did against George Kambosos Jr. So I got Hitchens for, a wide win on Saturday.
Uh-oh. We want to welcome our brother Khalid to the show. He says, Joe Goosen's going to tell Barrios, you got to effing get inside on him now. Woo! Flashes of Chico Corrales, God rest his soul. I'll tell you what, yeah. And it's weird. They've got the same fight plan. That was the Diego Corrales, Joe Goosen strategy. Get inside on him and beat him up to the body and head. Don't try to box this guy from mid to long range. He's just going to keep coming and pushing you back. You've got to push him back. And I tell you what, it almost didn't work. But once again, referee Tony Weeks letting the fight continue and not being a big panocha and stopping it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that say, well, that and the mouthpiece, right?
Yeah.
Guys, if you think you're on the verge of getting knocked out, for all you young fighters, take a knee or spit out the damn mouthpiece. Don't just keep taking shots unanswered.
Well, the thing about it is, take a knee is better than spitting the mouthpiece out, because spitting the mouthpiece out can really get you disqualified.
Amen.
A good referee will disqualify you if you see you taking punches, then you spit that mouthpiece out.
Yep. Now, obviously, they're going to deduct points first, but if you continue to do it, just like Osalina Freitas, they're going to DQ you. Good call, Coach. Good call. Look, guys, I'm expecting a great main event and a great card. Would you like to tell us how your heavyweight, Joshua Edwards, is leading into his, you guys are going to be in the prelims. It's going to be on YouTube, correct?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's going to be on YouTube TV. But yeah, man, he's ready to go. We had a great training session today. And, our training is over with now. Tomorrow, just get him a light little run. And we don't have to worry about weight. So, he's going to rest up. And on Saturday, we go do our thing.
Yeah, I tell you what, we're really looking forward to. My prognostication is he's going to be the next great American heavyweight champion. What say you, Coach?
Oh, without a doubt, man, without a doubt.
I tell you what, Mike Miller's got himself a winner. So does Golden Boy Promotions. Speaking of Golden Boy Promotions, Coach, Ryan, dude, why are you talking about this is my last fight with Golden Boy Promotions? I'm a free agent. Dude, stop. You were suspended for a year. That year doesn't count on your contract. Tell him, Coach.
Absolutely. When you don't fight for a year, that means you still, the contract picks up after that. So, but he knows that. That's, he's just talking right now.
Well, look, you've got El Azteca in front of you. You've got the WBC title in front of you. And look, after that terrible performance against Rolly Romero, you better quit talking about the future events. The future is now, young Ryan.
Absolutely.
So pull your big boy pants up and take care of business first. Pendejo. I tell you what, Coach, youth is wasted on the youth, especially when it comes to some of these fighters. Chingao. But I will say this, he looks to be on that good. And no, I'm not shy about saying that. Coach, what happened to testing? Chingao.
I still thought that was testing. I think they still do testing when you fight for a world title. I mean, they come when you're not expecting them to come.
Yeah.
So they still do it. They still doing the testing. So he's got to be fine because he haven't failed anything. So he's going to be all right.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. There's some great fights coming up on the undercard here. Once again, we've already mentioned Richardson Hitchens defending his title against the always tough, hard-punching Oscar Duarte, and then we've got the return of Gary Antoine Russell against the undefeated, hard-punching Japanese fighter, Andy Hirakawa. Coach, do you
That
smell
fight,
an upset here as well?
that fight can steal the show.
Mm-hmm.
That fight can steal the show. Both guys are really good, and I just think it's going to be really exciting, man. Because Gary Antoine Russell, to me, is really, really good, and he's not going to want to relinquish. And he's such a good fighter, but the opponent is great also. So this fight can really steal the show.
Absolutely, guys. And once again, we've got the return of Frank the Ghost Martin against Nahir Albright. We also have, starting everything off, a fighter you're very familiar with, Coach, Beck the Bully, versus another fighter you're familiar with, Sina Ekbeko. Oh, boy. Sina Ekbeko, is he still crying about you, Coach?
He probably is.
Yeah.
But
Well, look.
I think Cena is past his prime, man. It's almost time for Cena to give it up. Beck is gonna, he's gonna run all over Cena, man. Cena's only chance to win is by knockout. Otherwise, it's over. I didn't just think he was fighting after he fought Morel. I didn't think he was going to continue, but he did. And I don't know, man. He gets involved in these fights, man, but, he just, I don't know. He needs to take a second look.
Well, I'll tell you what, someone else who's a little long in the tooth, Luis Arias, is going to be taking on, the knockout artist from Oakland, Amari Jones. Really looking forward to seeing the return of Amari Jones. 15-0 with 13 knockouts, taking on Luis Arias. Your prediction for that fight, Coach?
Luis may go 4.
4.
I'm giving him the benefit of doubt of training.
There it is. There it is, guys. Well, good luck to all fighters. I love this card, guys. Look, if you're not going to purchase it on pay-per-view, support the local businesses who are. Go see it at Dave & Buster's. That's what I'm going to do, Coach. If I'm not DJing. If I'm going to DJ here, I'm going to, and right now, guys, we're doing the podcast in San Antonio, Texas, from Brandy's Ice House for Fat Tuesday. I'm going to be hosting karaoke and DJing. So if you're in the San Antonio area, come out and see us. Brandy's Ice House, guys. Wow. I'm going to be spinning the hits until 2 a.m. James, do you have anything before we shift gears and move on? Do you have anything more to add about this fight card in Vegas?
I'm trying to follow up on this, recent story here in reference to Andy Hirakawa. It's saying some reports are saying he's having issues getting over to Las Vegas. So I'm trying to follow up on that.
That's no bueno, because that was the fight I was most looking forward to, aside from the main event.
Yeah.
Oh, so dude. And look, Gary Antoine Russell, he's been waiting to fight this guy. This is his, third training camp for this guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Chihuahua. And Bulbous Boxing Academy. Jeez, Bulbous. Chingao. He's got Garcia by late round stoppage. Coach, what say you?
Well, I mean, look, it can happen. It definitely can happen. But, we just have to wait and see what happens, man. Because, Barrios have a tendency to, fade in the later rounds. So, depends on what kind of shape Ryan is in.
Well, I'll say this. If the strategy is indeed to take the fight right to Ryan Garcia, unfortunately, I see El Azteca being El Flaco looking up at the lights within 5 rounds. But that's just me. I've been known to be wrong. Not often, but I've been known to be wrong. And there it is. There it is. Also, guys, I don't know why no one in America is talking about this, because this is potentially huge for our beloved boxing, the business of it anyway. The return of Tyson Fury and it's going to be on Netflix. Guys, we just saw the Super Bowl in front of an audience of 130 million viewers. Netflix, guys, with an outreach of over 350 million subscribers worldwide, it has the potential for that kind of outreach. Coach, is the return of Tyson Fury going to be a good thing for the sport of boxing?
Only if he wins.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh jeez.
Yeah, only if he wins. Look, I mean, I don't know how many. I mean, Fury to me isn't as popular as he think he is. So, and I think the heavyweight division won't miss him anyway. So I don't see what the fuss is all about.
Well, apparently Netflix, because he scored a big hit with At Home with the Furies,
Yeah.
they think it's going to transcend to his success in the ring, or at least people tuning in anyway. Well, let's just put it this way. I think it's going to be better for the business of boxing. It's going to be better than the return of Ronda Rousey on Netflix. Ching Yao, dude. Why are they going there? Oh, jeez. Anyway. James, you have anything else before we shift gears, sir?
Nah, not on that particular topic. We're just waiting for him to, I guess, have this fight, and then we'll see what's going to be next for Tyson Fury. But it depends on what numbers they do pull for this fight between him and Arslan Bekmambetov.
Well, look, guys, let's shift gears. I want to see what Coach Ronnie thinks about this. Let's read the news. Virgil Ortiz. Apparently, they tried to pull a fast one. Eddie Hearn, being the big, well, I'm going to say it, being the douchebag that he is. Forgive me, guys. But I don't know how else to characterize it. He was trying to make a deal with his manager, Rick Mirrigan, to put together Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. Coach, was Golden Boy justified in pulling that injunction, stopping them from making a deal without his promoter?
Absolutely, man. That's why you have a promoter. And I've been reading up a lot about this thing. I mean, it's all crazy, man. And now Oscar's at least won the first round of this thing. A judge agreed with him. So, I just hope the kid don't mess up his career by thinking too much about what's happening and, keep his mind on fighting and training, because that's the most important thing. You don't want to mess up your career behind something like this. You have a promoter, they have a signed contract, and trying to get out of it, and it's going to mess up his mind, man, because all he's thinking about is getting out of that contract when he should be thinking about Boots Ennis, and it's really tough on a fighter because he's caught in the middle of all of this. And, and it's hard to think about anything else when you feel that you have that right to get out. But a judge tell you, no, you don't. You're still stuck in this thing, And, it's just one of the shady things of boxing, man, that happens that shouldn't happen. If you know you got a signed contract, you have to honor it. Despite anything, all the obstacles that come in your way, you got to put it aside and concentrate on your career. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the fighter. Nobody else but the fighter. And if he wants to fight, so just concentrate on that and the opponent that's in front of you.
There it is. Oh, my word. Hold on. James, would you like to clarify this statement in the chat?
This is from an earlier question there, when he talks about, where he asked about what about the Fury fight. And I was saying, hey, do you mean John Fury versus Carl Froch, as in the whole little back and forth?
Coach, Coach, do we have to do something about the insane bipolar fathers being ringside? I mean, come
Yeah,
on. We just saw Tiafino Sr. Look, Bill Haney's not doing his son any favors inside the ring or outside. And come on, John, Big John Fury,
yeah, I
shut
saw
your
him.
damn mouth. Ronnie, what say you about the overbearing fathers in boxing?
Yes, some of them can go too far, man. You know, and they think because their son is at the top, that they can just do whatever they want to do, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. You know, this is why we're losing so much respect in the sport of boxing. The respect has to get back being in the sport because, man, it's getting too wild out there. And, and boxing at the end of the day is going to take a huge hit because of things that's happening that shouldn't be happening.
I'll tell you what, we're going to switch gears to my nephew, Anthony Manzano. Happy Fat Tuesday, my brother. He says, Coach Joe and James. A lot of people are saying that Boots is just going to walk through. I see what you did there. Boots, walk, got it. Walk through Virgil and Virgil overrated? Like Virgil's not a good fighter. Are you guys in the same line of thinking? What do you think, Anthony? Come on, dude. Are we in the... No. Look, Coach Ronnie, is this a bit closer to a 50-50 fight than everyone realizes?
Look, this is definitely a 50-50 fight. Look, both guys are really good, and Virgil probably the stronger fighter, but Boots is probably the better boxer. But at the same time, the skill level is unbelievable in both of these guys. So this is, to me, this is close to the fight that you can ever get. I would be shocked if this is not a close fight. If it happened, this is crazy. This is, I mean, these guys are, man, you can't ask for a better fight in the sport of boxing. If you want to see a great fight, this is the fight to make.
There it is, guys. That's one of the best matchups. Now, I can't think of any better matchups than this currently, except maybe Benavidez versus Bivol. Maybe Bam Rodriguez versus Naoya Inoue. Otherwise, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
This has Burn Bunner written all over it.
There it is, guys. And look at their knockout ratio. Look at the skill set. Look at the heavy hands. Don't blink. Man, this is a great matchup. Let's hope that cooler heads prevail. And, this fight gets made sooner rather than later. Both men are in their prime.
Good luck with that.
Oh, Chingao. James, be quiet. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Peter Von Arts, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Coach Tyson Fury's the new face of boxing. AI told him so. Oh, Chingao.
Yep, that's why AI told him.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for supporting the coach on this day. It says, Source of Boxing, my God, J.R. Bell. Salute, fam. Yes, sir. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. We love you. And Southpaw Storm, welcome to the show. He says, Coach, does Barrios have much of a chance against Ryan Garcia?
He does have a huge chance. But, he has to dominate from the beginning because Barrios is so good at the beginning, but fades in the end. And that's what the last couple of fights, if you saw his fights, he's been fading lately. So that's not a good sign.
Yeah, not a good sign, brother. We'll see, though, guys. He better hope that the same Ryan who was embarrassed by Rolly Romero shows up. But look, I wouldn't bet on that. I wouldn't count on that, guys. And I hope they've trained for the best version of Ryan. And I think they have, just upon speaking with their team. Guys, expect a great fight card this Saturday. Once again, buy it if you want to see it at home. But if you don't want to do that, go support the local businesses who are showing this. Do not steal this, guys. We want to make it 2 successful pay-per-views in a row and go support, okay, the proceeds from that help pay Ronnie and Joshua Edwards. Think about that, guys. Come on now. All right. And coach, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Let's go back to this. Well, we're running out of time, guys. We're going to do fact or fiction.
Right.
Coach, fact or fiction, Xander Zayas may be the worst unified world champion in boxing today, with the exception of maybe Zurdo Ramirez. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's a fiction. I don't think so. Look, he's a really good fighter, man, and can't take nothing away from him. You know, he just won a second belt. He beat a really good guy who I thought was really, really tough.
Yep.
And so, you know, so I give Xander his props. I really think he's gonna, you know, he's a really good fighter, and I think people, you know, as he continues to fight, I think people are really gonna fall in love with this guy's style.
Well, I tell you what, congratulations to all the people who saw it on TikTok. Ching Gao. TikTok, my word. Okay, guys, look. Coach, look, I'm all for Zuffa boxing, trying to putting together these matchups, these cards. But can you quite get past the black versus white thing? With all of these fighters wearing the different trunks, not being able to promote their brand on Zuffa. Do you think that's right?
I don't think it's right because you're taking money out of fighters' pockets, number one. You know, and, you know, I mean, fighters really don't care what they wear. Some fighters really doesn't care what they wear. So, you know, but if we're going to really if they're going to really be in the business of boxing, you can't change what fighters depend on. And a lot of fighters who are not making a ton of money depends on a little things like having a sponsor that they could put on their trunks or something like that, you know? And you're taking that away from these guys, you know? And it may not mean something to Zuffa, but it means a lot to the fighter who has to get in there and who have a family to take care of, and just the little money that they get for sponsors, you know, that means a lot to them. And then you take that away from them, you know. And, you know, I mean, you know, it's a lot of things I think have to be changed with them. But at the same time, you know, it's another outlet for some fighters who don't get an opportunity to be seen on television, or, you know, or to even have a chance to make a decent amount of money. So, you know, it's like a good side and a bad side of it. But, you know, somebody is gonna do good with them, and somebody isn't gonna do good with them. So I think we just have to give them an opportunity, and like everybody else that's new, you know, we have to wait and see what's going to happen. They may turn out to be something great, but we don't know because it's early. It's too early to say right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach, for those pearls of wisdom, once again, you get the War Week. Round of applause. Yes. Because that's something that most fans don't realize how important that sponsorship is to hungry young fighters, guys who aren't getting opportunities, and when they do, they're not breaking the bank. There are, like, once again, Ronnie, there are a lot of hands in the pockets of these prize fighters. Yeah, you're looking at promoters, PR guys, trainers, obviously, managers, sanctioning organizations. So yeah, they need as much income as they possibly can. And let's go to last topic du jour. Coach, what do you think about the WBC stripping Shakur Stevenson of his 135-pound championship?
You know what? I didn't like it at all, man. I really and truly didn't. You know, and I didn't understand. Okay, you're given permission to go ahead and not defend his belt, but to go up to make history again for himself, to go up and fight in another weight division. But he didn't fight for the WBC. So what's the problem? They wanted to charge him a sanctioning fee.
And $120,000 at that.
Yeah. You know, and
that's a lot of effing money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, man. And you know, and then if you don't do it, you get stripped of your belt. So of course he's gonna let him take the belt because he just won another belt. So, you know, but man, I just don't like the fact that, you know, that they came out and said, you know what, well, you got to pay us a sanctioning fee because we let you not defend your title and fight for another title. You know, I mean, if it was in the same weight division, I can understand them saying, hey, no, you got to defend your title because it's in the same weight division, but you're moving up. So they have nothing to do with it. If you have nothing to do with it, how can you charge them $120,000? For what?
You know, Coach, wait a minute. Who's running the WBC? Is it Mauricio Suleiman or Tony Soprano? Ching Gao, guys. That sounds like the mafia right there.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, you know, Mauricio's just saying, hey, man, hey, let us wet our beak. That's what it sounds like to me. Cut off a little piece for that.
Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, Joseph. This is the same Mauricio Suleiman that I talked to over a week ago. Okay.
I remember. Great interview, by the way, man. Well done.
Okay. So the thing about it was, now he didn't specify it in that particular interview, but he did with Chris Mannix in that he tried to work out something with Shakur Stevenson in the week leading up to the actual fight. Okay. And apparently there is something in the rules of the WBC. Now, this is what the real tie-up is. There's something in the rules in the WBC that's been in effect since 2024 that if you go up in a weight class and you fight for a world title that's not the WBC and the WBC doesn't have any involvement in it, then they get 1.5% of your purse.
And that allows you to keep your belt.
Yep. And look, I saw the same thing. And thank you for reminding us. If Shakur had simply given them written notice that he was going to move back down and wanted to compete and defend his title at 35 still, they would have let him keep the belt, but he didn't do it. And you would think that James Prince would actually know this.
Yeah, that's definitely a manager's job to know this.
Yep.
To know that.
Look, I'm agreement with Dr. Spock here. Extortion, brother.
Well, I know one thing. I am looking into the World Boxing Association, the World Boxing Organization, and the International Boxing Federation if they have something similar to this in their rules and regulations. Because, yeah, if something like this, it could be unprecedented. But, hey, I wouldn't put anything past these sanctioning bodies to have something similar.
Hey, yeah. Coach, what did James Toney call the WBC? What did he say it stood for? We be crooks. We be crooks. Oh, shout out to the living legend, James Toney. Dude, they don't make them like that anymore, do they, Coach?
Not at all.
I tell you what, man. If they did, well, everyone at middleweight and super middleweight would be in trouble. Yep, that's what I'm saying. Coach, I think that's about it. Because I do have to start spinning the hits and hosting karaoke in just a bit. JR, do you have any parting shots for our listening audience, sir?
I have one more quick fact or fiction.
Let's hear it, brother. Hold on real quick. Hold on. Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction. Woo!
All right, Coach. All right. Jamel Charlo was a little bit overreacting to his comments in reference to you and what happened in the corner during your time as a trainer. Fact or fiction?
Hold up, say that again.
Jamel Charlo.
Hold on, James. I don't even know what you're referring to.
Yeah, me either.
Give us the context.
Okay. I'm referring to Jamel Charlo's comments to Najee of Cigar Talk, talking about when Jamel said that in the corner, Coach Ronnie would smack him up in the corner.
Okay, hold on, guys. I just have this to play. Yeah. How about this one? Yeah, guys. He gets the big gong. That's pathetic.
I've never smacked anybody in the corner. I've never touched anybody in the corner. You know, the most I've ever done to anybody is cuss them out.
Yeah. We remember that. That was Mike Tyson. And it wasn't Mike Tyson. It was his entourage in the corner. You told him to shut the F up. I'm the trainer. I remember that like it's yesterday. But I will say this.
But I've never put my hands on a fighter.
Maybe Jamel Charlo's having flashbacks of his old lady. Did I say that on the show? Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry, guys. You don't throw daggers.
This is live, right?
Yeah, this is live,
man.
and you don't throw daggers at the coach. Sorry, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
And there it is.
Daggers if you ain't willing to take them back.
There it is. What do they say about glass houses, Jamel? Chingao. You're not even the good Charlo. Sit down. Speaking of which, Coach, when does camp start for David Morrell? He's got a big fight. It was just announced against Callum Smith.
I don't know. I haven't seen him. I'll probably see him. Well, I will see him tomorrow because I'm going to Vegas.
There it is. There it is. Next time, tell him not to buy so many shots for his entourage because damn, Coach, tell him not to drink. Camp is coming up. Anyway, you don't have to say anything, Coach. Plead the fifth, please. I'm just thinking out loud. Sorry, guys. Coach, so, James, any parting shots for our listening audience?
No, just enjoy the fights this weekend.
Yeah, and Jamel Charlo, shut your mouth. Coach Ronnie, any parting shots for our listening audience, sir?
As always, you can follow me on Instagram at official Ronnie Shields.
Guys, we want to thank the living legend. Yes. I tell you what, guys, if you missed any part of the show, go ahead and rewind. It's allowed. But until next week, we're going to speak with Ronnie Shields. We're going to have a post-fight as soon as we get back on Tuesday. But, guys, on behalf of J.R. Bell and the living legend, future Hall of Famer Ronnie Shields, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to Real Boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields. Have a great Fat Tuesday, everybody.
W.A.W. proudly presents living legend and elite level trainer Ronnie Shields.